Good evening, Super Bowl bound fans.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Pretty exciting times here in the city of brotherly love.
Yeah. 3 times in 8 years, two and 3 years.
All right, well, hold your thoughts because we're gonna get to it. Welcome everybody. We're This Fan's View every Wednesday night, whether we're live at home or on the road. Tonight it's John and I. Lauren is under the weather, so we're hoping she can knock this cold out of her system. And Anthony is he's busy. He's busy with the sales for the Reading Fighting Phils. So good luck to him, and good luck to Lauren, and good luck to John and I, because we get to pound this for the next hour.
Exactly.
So let's get people brought up to speed on our fantasy, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, whatever you got, John.
Well, this week's been a little bit crazy with the Super Bowl and Super Bowl preparations here at the store. So I just got the football analysis because that's what the biggest thing for right now is everybody's looking for here. So we will show the fantasy football, and here's the leaderboard. We have myself. I'm at the top there. Henry Zadell is in second place. Stephen White is in third. Henry Russell there is in fourth. Arthur Quay is in fifth. Mike McCullough and his son Brendan is sixth and seventh. Robert Ozick there is in eighth. So it's a nice leaderboard right there, and it's going down to the wire here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds here with the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah, got a tight little race there.
Any predictions?
Well, probably the way things are going to go, not to spoil the thing. It'll be myself as the leader, and then second place, which will be the winner, will be Henry Zadell. So I would think.
Okay.
Because a couple of the people at the top there have Baltimore Ravens players. So depending on how the playoff or Super Bowl goes there, it may be a little bit of changing at the top of the leaderboard. Who knows?
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
All right.
So
well, good luck.
Yeah.
Going to be a great game either way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Talk about a great game. And look, how great was that NFC Championship game? That was as complete as can be.
Didn't see it coming. Had no idea that they were going to hang 55 on the Commanders.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere. Personally, I was a little concerned after the first quarter, but after that, it was guns a-blazing.
Yes. Yeah. It was really just that first drive when Washington was going, and I think he kind of pulled a bad move there. The coach there, not going for it on fourth down and kicking that field goal at that point, because that's been their MO the whole season, is just going for it and no holding back, and changing your philosophy there a little bit at the the big time of the game.
Yeah, I guess he thought some early points, against the Birds, being a defensive coach, I guess he thought, they were going to, hold them.
Yeah. Well, Dan Quinn's also given up 20, what was it, 24 in the Super Bowl? So, leads. So, yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was just a bad message to send to your team there, on the road. Even if you got no points, it would still been better off just going for it to.
Well, if people were sending messages, I gotta hand it to our defense, because I think they sent a message just about on every play, every down, everything that Washington tried, seemed to fall apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, exactly. It's a very good defense. You just and it really they've been tackling. Is really been their biggest improvement this year. Is just the way they attack the ball once it's in the air and everybody comes and tackles, and you rarely see a missed tackle on in the play, and it's that's good to see. Because you're gonna need that against all these teams, because Fangio will give you that little 3-yard pass, 4-yard pass, and let you nickel and dime you down the field, because eventually you're going to make mistakes, which Washington did in those games, and dropping passes or had a couple fumbles and a turnover.
Well, I thought they kind of were hearing footsteps there too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because let's face it, these boys they're hitting hard.
Oh yeah.
They're bringing it on every play. There seems to be. I've been listening to it. It's kind of like I don't normally listen to a lot of sports talk radio,
right?
Especially in Philly, because I just don't. I'll leave it there. But I kind of wanted to get a feel for what who was getting the credit. Where they who were getting who were they handing out flowers to?
Right.
Did as Jalen said, they took the straitjacket off.
Mm-hmm.
Barkley is Barkley. You know what I mean? There just doesn't seem to be any wavering with him.
Yeah.
Once he makes that first cut and they miss him, and the next 2 or 3 guys miss him,
right.
Been pretty dominating. I thought A.J. Brown had a really phenomenal game, just all around.
Oh, yeah.
Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. I really honestly thought that they spread the ball around, something that we've been talking about for probably 17 or 18 weeks. You know what I mean? How they're going to spread this ball around and get everybody touches, and, is everybody going to stay happy? And, that was one of the conversations, because I listened to Sirius a lot and try to get the national, viewpoint on things. And, they seem to talk about different guys, especially AJ, keeping himself, under control, and, reading his book, on the bench, just to stay in the game, in the moment. Right. So they seem to be clicking: offense, defense, special teams. It was really, really good to see, the Rams game in the snow. They plowed through that, and, on to Washington. And, you heard so many different, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a 3-point, it went back and forth.
Right.
So it was good to see them put up, a bunch of points, and they really made it look easy, especially Washington coming off of the Detroit game.
Oh yeah.
What's your, what are your thoughts? Because I know you're a big, opponent of listening to sports talk radio and what they, who they're pushing this week.
Yeah, no, I like listening to it for getting the you get little tidbits. You got to kind of listen and pick and choose what you're listening to, because they'll go off on tangents on one way or another. And but no, I agree. It was that was the best game that they put up.
Yep.
And I always joke that they were listening to us at a microphone in Applebee's. We were talking about that this team should be able to put up 40 40 points easily.
Yeah.
And I had said it myself, and I'll be the first to admit it, that Jalen was holding us back, because of that. That was all leaning on the run, and he had a great game. It was 20 for 28. 246 yards and a touchdown and three more running. That's what we were expecting to see with this offense.
Right.
And not that you're going to score 55 points every week. That's not going to be the case, but they were 7 for 7 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns against Washington, and Jake Elliott made his field goals. So I mean, it was just a perfect game. I mean, it really. Yeah. I mean, the what was it? We had one or two punts, I think, in that game. So I mean, it was, and then I mean, Jake missed a 53-yard field goal, which I thought was a 53 or 55-yard, whatever it was. I think that was a mistake, sending him out there in that situation personally, but just because of it's just psychologically in his head, over 50. If that first number is a 5, it doesn't seem to work out. He's now in 40s and in. But that 50 number seems to have him a little bit in his head, and so because you could have given Washington the momentum back, giving them the ball there, but then again the defense steps up and gets a turnover. After that was happened. So no, I mean this team is it's impressive. It's impressive to see what they're doing right now, and hopefully we got one more game like that to go, because
yes, sir.
Because Kansas City is that one team that they're not going to flash. Have a lot of flash in the pan there. They're going to do that nickel and a dime and all down the field, like that first drive with Washington had against us. 17 plays, and they'll just keep, and they won't miss on like little plays. So you got to stop them and hold them to a field goal.
Well, I mean they've got their two big guns, in Mahomes and Kelsey,
right.
How do you stop Mahomes? I don't think you can. You just got to contain them and
right.
Give them, the short stuff, and, just don't let them, kill you on third downs.
Exactly.
I think that's probably the big, I mean, if you had to, try to break it down, I think that, the third down conversions is what, they keep drives alive, and, Kelsey's I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just a dog, and you can stop him and try to slow him down, but he's still gonna be out there, and he's gonna beat you. You just got to do your best and try to contain him. But
yeah.
Real quick, Joe Stinger, one of our weekly visitors to the show. Joe, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
The two rookies, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, just absolutely phenomenal seasons from both of them.
Yes.
Took Cooper a little bit to get going, but once they finally got him in there, he's, they're two hell of a. I mean, we're set back there for years to come.
Exactly.
They're two really great, draft picks. So yeah, Barkley's as bad a beast as there is in football. The Giants, what can you say? They've made a lot of mistakes over the years, but I don't think any were much bigger than that one. Letting him go. Chris Lambert, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I think this may be your first show. I'm not 100% sure there, but welcome to the show. Tell my little buddy Jonathan that we said hello, and hopefully he's been wearing that Eagles gear to school every day.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, Shawnee, we're gonna get to. We got one more game, buddy. One more game to for a lot more chance.
Oh yeah,
a lot more chance, and we brought the house down Sunday at Buffalo Wild Wings. So we definitely drive the party over there. So, but again, thanks everybody for joining us. And if you have any questions or comments about the Eagles or thoughts, on the upcoming Super Bowl, I guess right now the Chiefs are a 1.5, 1.5 point favorite,
right.
Which basically doesn't amount to much.
No.
But I guess Vegas had to make somebody, the favorite. And to be honest with you, I would have thought, with the Chiefs being the powerhouse, that it would have probably been at least, a 3-point game.
And just showing the respect to the Eagles.
I guess. And man, 2, 3, 4 weeks into the season, there wasn't a whole lot of respect being given out by anybody.
Well, no. I mean, it's been a big turnaround since the bye. That's for sure. And it's nice to see them, put this all together. We got to give Sirianni credit as well. He's matured as a head coach, and it's not all about him anymore. And his antics on the sidelines. It's nice when you have a team that you can just stay out of the way and let them play. But it's also sometimes hard for some people not to get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen other coaches. I mean, for one that comes to mind, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll used to get crazy, and now he's back in the game. He's he's back. He's taking on the black hole in Vegas. With the Raiders. He gets a little fired up. Some of these coaches, it's just part of their MO.
Oh yeah.
Nick had to tame it down a little bit. I think that was part of it. But I just, and I don't know what the proper way of handing out accolades and the best assistant coach in football, the best defensive coordinator in football, but I've been hearing a lot of the pros really talking heavy about Vic Fangio and what he's been able to do with this defense. And me, John, I'm always quick to say, if you got the players,
right,
you got to put them in place. You put these players in place, and they're going to make plays. They're going to make big plays.
Yeah.
And it just seems like Vic was able to turn around some of these guys. A lot of these Georgia Bulldog guys that were struggling early on in their careers, to be, A, starters and B, really making some serious, plays on the field. I mean, Nolan Smith, he's coming out of his shoes.
Oh yeah.
Which
he's already set the season or the playoff record for 4 sacks already, for an Eagles player. So, and he's still got one more game to play.
Yep.
It's
really interesting to see this defense develop because they're so young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to think, you took Fletcher Cox off the line, you lost Brandon Graham, week 12?
Right. Yeah, about that, somewhere in that range.
You know what I mean? And he was making some serious plays up until that point, and he was only supposed to be a part-time player.
I mean, he was the best player up until that point.
Yep.
It's been nice to see, Nolan Smith either come out of his shell because maybe, he was in the shadow of Brandon Graham there a little bit. And now that he had his chance to shine, he's taken advantage of it. And, it's great to see.
What are you hearing on Graham? Is he going to be ready to go for the Super Bowl?
It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I think he wants to play. It's just a matter of how much he's going to be able to play realistically,
Right.
To be able to take up a roster spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that spot, and I think you and I may have talked about this a little bit. I mean, is it really about the spot, or is it, are they going to be able to utilize him on certain third down situations? And
right,
is he going to bring something, versus maybe that last guy on special teams that gets a shot if somebody gets hurt. I mean, I don't know that. Who did they sign? Morrow.
yeah, Brandon Morrow. Yeah, I mean,
they made him active for Sunday's game, but I don't know that he played.
Not much, just probably special teams, but
yeah. So I guess the Philly guy inside of me would love to see Brandon Graham, win another Super Bowl and play in it.
Right, playing it and then go off into the sunset, on his last year, and
right,
because otherwise, if he doesn't play and either they win it or they don't, he may have that, I should come back for another year type of thing, and
right,
and he may not have as good of a year, type of thing, and because it was a hell of a year that he's had this year so far.
Yeah, no, it's
and
it's been good. It's been good, other than his little outburst after one of his radio shows, to call out, a couple of the players. That kind of got, put to bed quickly. But let me ask you this, John, from last year to this year, can you put a finger on what's been probably the biggest difference?
The assistant coaches for both sides of the ball.
Okay.
Definitely, I mean, the defense was what, 28th, 29th in the league last year, and now they're number one. So I mean, that's a big jump right there for Vic Fangio. And Kellen Moore, I mean, he's he had to adapt. He likes to pass the ball a little bit more as his offense, but when you got a guy number 26 in the backfield there, Barkley, and the offensive line you have here, you still have offensive weapons wide receiver wise, but it's a lot easier just to hand it off because there's less things that can happen, and one play needs 80 yards,
right.
Type of thing, and so Kellen Moore, the players the offensive players went to the coaches on the bye and said we got to run the ball more, and not a lot of coaches will always do that, and listen to the players and change their philosophy there, and that goes also for Nick as well, for changing it up and doing that more, and certainly glad that they did. Because
it really has been a fun season for us to follow the Birds. You know what I mean? We were all griping at the beginning of the season because they didn't play, they didn't play any of the, the exhibition games.
Right.
So there was a slow start coming out, 2-2, there was a little bit of, what's the identity of this team?
Right.
And
he had some injuries, also were mixed in there as well to start off this season. And, AJ wasn't healthy right after the Brazil game and stuff. So, there was a lot of little things going on there, like you said. And, but I think we're going to have to realize as Eagles fans, it's not what we're used to, but, they're not going to be playing in the preseason, much anymore. And, we're just going to have to understand that and take a deep breath, earlier in the season.
There are no deep
which isn't always easy.
Philadelphia, come on, there are no deep breaths.
Well, no, but we might have to, realize, hey, it's a long season, and you don't have to be, 17-0. You can be, even if you were a 12-5 team, still a great year, and you're peaking at the end of the year. That's what you want to see.
I was doing some legwork for the show, and I found this very interesting. We're talking about Barkley. We're talking about single season rushing yards.
Yes.
And I mean, he is right behind Terrell Davis. I mean,
30 yards.
Yeah, there's top 5. Terrell Davis, Barkley, Terrell Davis, Eric Dickerson, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some heavy duty company right there. You got, what, 2 Hall of Famers? I'm not sure. Is Adrian Peterson a Hall of Famer? Not yet.
I don't think he's eligible yet, but he's going to sure be a Hall of Famer.
So, I mean, that's Hall of Fame company right there. And he's 30 yards. He's 30 yards behind Davis, for the most rushing yards in a single season, regular season and playoffs.
Exactly.
There's no more signs outside the NovaCare. Hey, Nick, run the ball.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That party's over.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it too. If Barkley gets 169 yards in the Super Bowl, which is a lot, to happen, but he'll have the most rushing yards in the playoffs as well in the season along of it. So you talk about how's this guy not the MVP of the league? Right. He had 2,005 yards rushing, for the season. He's got 442 in the playoffs already. He's got a single season record for the Eagles of 255 yards, a playoff record of 205 yards. Yep. Like you said already, 30 yards away from the all-time leading rusher in playoff, in this single season combined. And we know he would have had it was 102 yards away or whatever it was, 101 away from breaking the single season record.
Yep.
And he was held back against the Giants there to end the season. So, I mean, I don't know how he cannot be the MVP. It just doesn't make sense with all those records that you're knocking off right there.
Yeah.
And it's
for sure.
It
really has been a fun season. We've certainly had the highs and lows. We've had the fourth quarter victories, the nail biters,
right.
They just, I guess, I don't know. Would you narrow it down to started playing their best ball after the Tampa game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. After that bye, they've only lost one game since then, and that was when Jalen Hurts got knocked out and the defense gave up 22 points in the fourth quarter for Washington to beat them.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's been, crazy, and it's, you almost don't know that it's real,
yeah.
As a Philadelphia fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've said that I think every day to myself and to Sue and anybody who wants to listen to me, since they won on Sunday. It just doesn't. I haven't got that. I haven't felt that. That Super Bowl, like we're going to the Super Bowl. What I mean? We're going to the Super Bowl. I guess when I see them board the plane on, when are they leaving? Sunday, I believe it is.
Something like that. Sunday, Monday. I think they're talking. Yeah.
When they board the the Super Bowl flight to New Orleans, and they're all dressed in their Super Bowl gear and I guess maybe it'll start to sink in. I don't know.
Right.
I know they got a few guys that are nicked up, which, couple of weeks to get these guys, back up and running and, we'll be in good shape. I would like if it's even remotely possible to talk about a couple other things other than the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I know that's totally asinine, that I would even want to, jump in that conversation. But there are some other Philly teams in this city. They're not getting much much publicity these days, but I found
Some
it.
are.
I
Some are
found
for
it
maybe the wrong
interesting.
reasons.
Well, last night was an interesting game for the Sixers. The Lakers were in town with LeBron James, and there was a lot of Eagles at the game, sitting front row.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them rang the bell. So I thought that was pretty cool. That the Sixers acknowledged the Eagles, because I know there was some early talk, that the Sixers hadn't congratulated the Eagles and they were blaming Josh Harris and all that nonsense. And but it was fun to see them out and about. Last night, LeBron came over, with a few handshakes for the boys, and it's just good to see our guys. The game was on, I believe it was on TNT, so they were getting some national, media, which
Right.
Which is fun for Philly. It's fun for for our guys. Because let's face it, I don't know how many Eagles fans there are outside of our neighborhood. There's a few here, there's a trickle here and there, but it's fun to see. And the Sixers got the win last night, a big win against the Lakers team. Without Paul George, without Joel Embiid. John, I know this is a great. You love this stat, but or talking about this. But what's the over/under on how many games Joel plays this year?
6.5. And he's played 4 already.
Crazy. Hey, one last Sixer comment. Would you welcome Jimmy Butler back to Philadelphia in the right trade?
No.
I had to ask.
No, I know.
I had to ask.
Yeah, I don't know. This team's just unless Embiid, the big man's going to be healthy, it doesn't matter. Because when he's healthy, he's a good player. We all know that. He's talented. He shows it when he plays. He's just not there enough. And
right.
They're more than half or just about halfway through the season, or right at the halfway mark, and they're not even in the playoff in the play-in tournament right at the moment. That's
right.
12. You're 12 teams behind.
No, I get it. I had to ask.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I had to ask.
It's just would it be nice if it was Jimmy Butler 3-4 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on with his head either. Where he's getting out of being suspended a few times now with Miami and stuff, and because he loved it down there, and he seems to be too much of a me player as well. And
I don't know what happened. I don't pay close enough attention. Shawnee, you need to help me out with that 5.
I think that was the over/under for Embiid's games.
Oh, how many games he plays? He's going less than you.
He is. I don't know that he plays. I don't know that he plays again this year, to be honest.
Wow. There's $300 million flushed right down the toilet.
Yeah, if his knee is swelling when he's not even doing anything right now other than maybe practicing, how can you get him out there? You're going to get him out there to play, a couple of games, and then he's going to be out again for 2 weeks, whatever. It's you got to be able to get healthy, down the line. But you got to remember too, if the Sixers don't finish in the top 6 after the lottery, they lose their number 1 draft pick this year. So, it's one of those years you got to. I think it's the top 4 is guaranteed, in that you're in the top 4. So that those last 2 spots, if you're 5 and 6, you're not gonna. You might have a chance of losing it, and I think they're 6th or 7th right at the moment at that spot. So, Yeah, I don't think you can fool around with that because you got to get younger,
Okay.
and
All right.
get yourself a nice compliment to go with it with Maxey. And Paul George has been good too, but again, he's another one we talked about. He's a nice player, but he gets hurt a lot.
Yep.
And he was only healthy that 1 year last year when he was up for a contract. Oh, shocker! You know what? That never happens. And
all right. Well, the other team that shares the building, the Philadelphia Flyers, the new era of orange and black. I'm not so sure what their mindset is moving into the trade deadline. I was hoping Tom Kineen would have been on tonight so that we could talk to him about the new gritty store that opened up down there at the Wells Fargo Center.
He's managing it now.
Is he?
Yeah. He came out of retirement. Now he's managing it.
He's secretly the manager down there, huh? That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a shame he's not on so that he can hear that. That's a good one. Yeah, he is a huge gritty fan.
Yes, he is.
So, I'm not so sure. I mean, man, they look so good some nights, and other nights they just, the 2 games up in New York, the Rangers and Islanders, they just looked horrible. And then they come back the other night. Was it last night? Beat the Devils, after getting shellacked there, coming home. And, they just, I guess that's the core of a young team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They can look so good. I'm not really sure what direction, they're going.
Tom's on.
Yeah, gritty stinks. Did we wake him up from his nap?
Probably he heard us talking about gritty.
Yeah, he heard it. He heard his name, and he's like, "What? What?
Yeah.
What?
Nightmare. Wait,
gritty. Wait a minute." I don't know. I'd love to see him, put together some kind of a trade that would help both teams, obviously, and it could really use some scoring. And I think that would take the pressure off a lot of these guys, but I don't know. I don't know what Danny Briere's thinking. I know they keep telling us to be patient, and I think they forget what city we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough because like you said, it's a ideal situation, for a young team that goes the ups and downs throughout the season and where you look good, and then you're like, oh, they got it. They turned the corner, and then you play a better team, and not that the Rangers were a good team, but and then you get 6-1 loss or whatever it was, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe they didn't, but it's nice to see them fighting most nights, even if they do lose, they're not usually blown out like that,
right?
With the Rangers, but it's just I think they're there, and like you said, you're a couple of players away,
for sure,
and obviously a scorer or two, and a goalie, a true number one goalie, and maybe there isn't a number one goalie that you can get, these days, and you're going to have to. Yeah,
they definitely could use a couple key pieces, but let's keep this party moving along. I understand we're about 11 or 12 days away from pitchers and catchers. Normally, without the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, this is headline news. This is back page news,
right?
About the Phillies going to spring training, and not really hearing a whole lot. I think most fans are ho-hum about, what they've done this season, as far as bringing in a couple of mid-range guys.
What are your thoughts on what they were talking about now that they were there watching Max Scherzer?
Yeah, I tried to read a little bit about that, but every time I did, they were pages that I couldn't find, a whole lot of truth about.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean,
I hope it's not, because I personally,
Yeah, well, I mean, do you need another starting pitcher?
No, not yeah. You wouldn't think, at this moment.
I think we're inclined to believe that we're looking for a right-handed bat. You know what I mean? And that seems to be the not on their radar for whatever reason. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I guess they're going to try to roll out the same lineup, the same guys, the same everything as the last couple of years, and hope that a couple more of these guys have career years, and see where we're at that point. I think we woke up a couple people from down south.
Yeah.
They were probably folding up their winter blankets because they needed to turn the heat on and dig out their winter blankets down there in Florida, because it was pretty damn chilly down there. So
it was 35 degrees.
Ooh. It was pretty chilly down there, wasn't it, Joe Stinger? By the way, anybody that follows Joe Stinger, he's got his house decorated, Eagles green lights, got his blow up out on the front lawn. Kudos to Joe Stinger for bringing the Eagles spirit down to Florida.
Yeah.
So we got Ginny Field, she's down there. Emily's down. Everybody's moving to Florida, John.
I know.
Everybody's leaving us.
I know.
Everybody's leaving us, but
not right.
It's Joe says he's heading over to Clearwater on Friday. It's 70. I guess I read that right. He's going down on Friday. It's going to be 70 degrees. So good for him. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. But so pitchers and catchers, I know our friend Stick has been reporting a lot from down there. He's down there for, I think, what amounts to 4 months. And he works for the Phillies, actually. And he's been putting up some really cool video and some nice baseball shots. I guess it's there's a lot of young guys down there. Just I guess they're down there year round. Just having a place to work out and get ready for whatever season wherever they're heading. Shawnee is reporting, I thought I saw that too. Estevez just signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have a bullpen again by committee.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it always is anyway. We don't really use a closer. It's all matchups.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, let's kind of piggyback back to the Eagles and the Super Bowl and what kind of expectations do you have, John? How do we pull this win off? How do we get this, as all of us Eagles fans are saying, it's a revenge game.
Right.
How do we pull this victory off?
We just keep doing what we're doing right now. Not turning the ball over is key against the Chiefs. Because that's their MO as well to not really turn the ball over too much themselves, and make the other team make the mistakes. We saw 2 years ago with Jalen, in the Super Bowl, he was the best player on the field that day. And unfortunately he had that fumble, which was the one play that they forced them into, and they ran it back for a touchdown, and the momentum switched there a little bit right before half. But I think this team is just so focused, right at the moment, and
well, it kind of all runs through, no pun intended, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? On offense, they're able to run the ball. Even when they're not running the ball, they're still putting pressure on the defense to make a play and stop them.
Right.
Open up other guys out there on the field. So I mean, with everybody playing at the level that we're playing at, I mean, you got to give, Kansas City's no pushover.
No.
They're also in the Super Bowl, and they're there
Right.
for a reason. So they're a pretty damn good team. But
yeah, they had the best record in football this year as well. So.
Yep. There's, you got the revenge game from, Super Bowl 57. You want to beat Andy Reid. You want to beat Patrick Mahomes. You want to beat Travis Kelce. You want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And like Shawnee said, manage the ball, run the hell out of it and let the defense take over and get off the field as much as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you're going to see they might do a little bit of Cooper DeJean and Charlie Gardner-Johnson on Kelce a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I think Gardner-Johnson was a player that can get into Kelce's mind a little bit. Because Kelce likes to yap a little bit, and
sure.
we all know that Gardner-Johnson likes to as well.
Yep. As long as he stays in the game.
Exactly. And exactly. Yeah, and I think he's learned from that. But I mean, that's the big key of the game is controlling him, because you saw Zach Ertz had 10, 11 catches against us this past week with Dean being out, and so if Zach Ertz can do what he did. No disrespect to Zach Ertz, but Travis Kelce's a little bit better quality of a tight end than he is.
He's going to get his touches. He's going to he's going to do his thing. You just got to limit the amount of damage that that he does. The amount of touches that he gets from Patrick. I mean, Patrick seems to find guys that are not even open, and by the time the ball gets there, they're wide open.
Right. Well, that's the difference with Mahomes. Yeah, he will, make things happen with players.
Yep.
And and then that's just a big thing. It's just a matter of, we saw it 2 years ago. AJ Brown had a big game in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts had a big game in the Super Bowl. Now you're adding Saquon Barkley to that mix.
Yep.
Was Goddard? I don't remember if Goddard was fully healthy back on that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I don't recall. I don't.
But I mean, he's back playing well. So I mean, yeah, it's the Eagles are on paper the better team, but they're the better team. It's just, but the better talent wise on the team, it just the Chiefs may play better as a team, than most teams do, and that's not saying that the Eagles, but you do what you do last week and just be that consistent, not putting up 55 points, but getting down into the red zone, not kicking field goals, doing things and not trying to overdo yourself, like have Nick going for fourth down, 4th and 12 or whatever, like, all right, I got to go for it, instead of kicking the field goal at a certain points. But
right, sure.
Just get your points when you can, and and hopefully there are not too many field goals that you're kicking. It'll be good. I mean, we were a field goal down is all we lost to them last time, and
yeah, that was a late field goal to beat us. Another guy that's on the squad that wore the green was a guy by the name of Carson Wentz.
Yes,
I can't help myself but to mention that he's Mahomes' backup. You know what I mean? And it's funny how all this seems to circle back to former Eagles and former
coaches.
It just I find it interesting.
Oh yeah.
But it's we got a long 11, soon to be 10 days,
right?
To kick things around. I guess the boys are going through some light practices and most of their practices these days are now over at the link because the field, and I didn't know this, the field is heated.
Right.
I did not know that. Tommy Kelly was telling us that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the field was heated. But we don't have to worry about the turf this year, right? We have no no issues there, because I know that was a big problem back in Super Bowl 57 in Arizona with some bad turf, bad field conditions.
Right.
We're talking indoors. We're talking the Superdome.
What are you thinking for the matchup with the coaches? Sirianni and Andy Reid.
Well, I mean, Big Red certainly is a veteran coach. He's been around a long, long time. He's got a lot of years under his belt. There's probably nothing that he hasn't seen.
Right.
Andy's tree is starting to show some growth, and a lot of his guys are in the league now as coaches and coordinators, and he's done a great job. He's done a really good job. We weren't sure when he left Philadelphia if there was anything left with in Andy Reid's world.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think as Eagles fans, we probably saw the worst of Andy Reid, and Kansas City gets the best of Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So if that makes any sense,
mm-hmm.
There was a lot of snow on the field, but it piles up after a while.
It's heated, but it doesn't keep up with the snow. Because I kind of thought the same thing with when it was heated. I thought it would have kept up with the snow, especially since it was late in the game. But
turn up the heat, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just the one thing. Andy Reid makes you play uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
He makes you do what you're not comfortable doing.
Well, I think that's his veteran defensive coordinator there, who also, is another ex-Eagle coach.
Right.
And I think he puts his guys in place, to make plays.
Exactly. Just like you were talking about, with the quarterback sneak there, when they had, Josh Allen doing his version of the tush push, and he likes to go left all the time once he does it. So like they knew he liked to go left, and they stacked it up there, and stopped him a couple of times,
Yep.
And that's kind of the way it is with Jalen Hurts as well. He likes to go, left as much as possible. When you got Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson, it's a lot easier to go behind that beef,
Yep.
and but it's one of those things. It's the details is where it's all going to come down to at this point in the game, when that's the finer details is where it's going to come down to. And
I think it should be a good battle. It really should.
Yeah.
You're talking about the two best teams in football. And there's a lot of parallels there. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be interesting. Should be a good one. It should be a good one. What do you call it? Heads or tails?
I always go tails.
You always go tails?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you take the ball, or if you win, do you take the ball, or you push it to the second half?
I'm going second half.
Yeah, you're going to defer.
Yeah, because put that defense on the field and make a statement. and put them, maybe try to
Put the
steal.
pressure on early.
Yeah, it's another thing you got to watch out, because remember in Super Bowl 57, the special teams, came back and hurt us a little bit. With that punt return that they got back down to inside the 5-yard line or whatever it was.
Yep.
It's all three aspects of the game you're going to have to win this Sunday, on the 9th. And
yep.
I think so, just because of you hope to get that double up, right before halftime and right after the halftime, because it's just the
over under 46. What are you thinking?
That one's tight. That one's close. I guess I would have to slightly go over, but I was thinking like 27-24 type of thing. But having that, it means it might be even a little bit lower scoring game. Like a 21-24, right? When you said 46, yeah. So I mean, that 21-20, yeah, something like that could be. So. Yeah, I don't know. That's as we always say, Vegas always knows something. So
they sure do, don't they?
It's amazing. It's amazing how they figure that stuff out, and it comes out. Other than the 55 points that the Eagles put up, it was pretty close. The numbers that they wanted to have, but
they kept adjusting. They kept adjusting the money line during the game. I found that interesting. I was like, boy, they're really paying close attention here.
Right. Exactly.
But we're fortunate. We're very fortunate because the teams played well. We got a Super Bowl. Under Doug.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of, great memories with Nick Foles and the Philly. So, there's a lot to be said, and there's still a lot of work to be done. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. And not if they lose, if they do end up losing, it doesn't mean that it's a lost season, because it's been a good young team that you're building on. And you got to also give, Jalen Hurts credit, as well. A lot of teams, a lot of quarterbacks don't come back after going to the Super Bowl and losing, and make it back there. The last one was Jim Kelly back in the early 90s. So it's, it's definitely an accomplishment. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts both were the first Eagles head coach and quarterback to go to 2 Super Bowls. So I mean, it's there's a lot of good things going on. Saquon Barkley as well, with all his accomplishments as well this year.
Yep.
So I mean, that's the tough part about sports, right? You get all the way there and you win or lose, and it's like, oh, okay. Because this is going to be the first time both teams are playing, and it's like, this is the last game, no matter.
This is it. This is for a parade or no parade.
Right.
And let's hope we get another parade down Broad Street. Real quick, all of you that know Carl's Cards and Collectibles, we got some great things happening this Saturday. We got Corey Clement coming back, the old Super Bowl 52 champion.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that. That kicks the day off right around noontime. And then later on in the day, we got a couple of the players from the current team, Brandon Mann, the punter, and the big offensive lineman, Landon Dickerson.
Yeah.
So I hope he can fit through the door.
Yeah. Well, look, Brandon Mann was the MVP of the Rams game.
Yeah, he was. He handled that ball very well.
Yeah, I mean, being the place kicker, being the spotter there. I mean, there was 2. You won by 6 points, and there was two snaps that were a little bit rough. And when there was wide receivers out there all day long dropping passes, he snagged 2 of them. right with the fingertips. And I got to ask him how what he did to do that versus the other.
Little
he had no
stick 'em,
gloves
huh?
on.
Maybe a little stick 'em.
Well, they don't usually like to do that. That's why they don't wear gloves, because the ball doesn't spin.
Right.
When they put it down. So it would be curious to see what he does to be able to grab that balls, because both of those balls were coming back hot, and they weren't close to him. He had to reach out to get them. So, we'll see what.
So, Mrs. H, sorry to circle back to the Phillies, but didn't they bring Hamels to spring training to try to get the pitcher straight? That's a great question, because, I mean, how much coaching do you think Cole Hamels can actually do?
0.
Well, I mean, I think he could just give him some pointers,
or is he just there to, kiss the babies and sign autographs?
That's the reason.
Well, he's also there for fantasy camp right now too.
Well, that's over.
It's over.
That was last week. That's over now. But yeah, it's good to see them bring the old guys back.
Oh yeah. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt getting some advice.
No.
I mean, not that Zach Wheeler is going to need a whole lot of other things, but he could just bounce something off him, like, hey, what do you do in this situation or whatever.
Yep. Well, didn't they always compare a very young Aaron Nola to Cole Hamels?
Yeah.
That was always
he's there for Emily.
It's a good point. Did Henry pay for that?
Yeah.
Did Henry have him flown in special?
Yeah.
It's I'm looking forward to it, but I'm more so looking forward to February 9th with a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get that parade. We get all the accolades. We get all the trophies. We get all the good stuff that we got coming to a proud, city. I know all the Super Bowl merch is being picked up for the store tomorrow. So maybe that's when it'll kick in, when I see all that Super Bowl stuff, in the store and get me even more fired up.
Oh yeah. There'll be a lot of things, it's a fun time and enjoy it.
Yep.
Because, even though it's been happening, 3 out of the last 8 years, it doesn't happen often,
right.
a lot of times. And, with special times right now, even though we get hard on the team at times.
Well, that's what fans do.
Well, right. We're here for them, but, it's, we just know that there's more in them, to do, and we expect to see,
Yep.
greatness out of them,
Yep. That's all we want.
Right.
Greatness and one more win.
Exactly.
One more win. That's all we want.
Exactly.
All right, Johnny. It's been great. It's been real. We held it together. Hopefully we made the group proud.
Oh yeah.
Again, we thank our presenting sponsor, City Distilling. They do a phenomenal job for us all the time.
Oh yeah.
For your Super Bowl refreshments, go check them out. They got some great stuff. So, with all that being said, Johnny, you got anything else before we close it out?
No, just go check out Carl's Cards and Collectibles for the sign-in for the tickets, because they came quick. It's a short turnaround for these sign-ins.
Yeah, it's a small window.
Yep, but
it's a small window and a long line. So
exactly,
get ready.
You get to wish two of the players out there, to give them all the good juju to go out there and and do what they need to do to bring us home a trophy.
There you go.
And then hopefully we'll see them back here again.
There you go. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, we look forward to it every Wednesday night. So
Yes.
we will be right back at you next Wednesday night, and the countdown will be to what, 4?
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4.
Yeah.
The magic number.
That's when it gets real.
4. That's when it gets real.
Oh yeah.
That's when it gets real.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Those last 4 days feel like a year.
All right, John.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep,
thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.